Welcome to the Personal Finance Professional Podcast, a place for insightful discussion from the world of financial planning and beyond. I'm Christopher Shadforth. I'm the Communications Director for the Personal Finance Society. And today I'm joined by Eddie Grant, PFS board member. Very, very welcome to you, Eddie. How are you doing?
Very well. I'm really excited, and especially as you've told me I'm your first guest in the new podcast room.
And look at it. It's absolutely amazing, isn't it?
Brilliant. Yes, very good.
It feels like we've gone into the 21st century at last.
Yes, excellent.
Well, I'm delighted that you're with us. And you're going to be talking to us today about some of your different roles that you've got and some of the exciting things that are happening in the world of financial planning. But perhaps first it's worth just unpacking some of the different hats you wear, because you do wear quite a few, don't you? You're a PFS member director or board director. You are also on the EFPA, the European Financial Planning Association, and you're a disability champion as well. So can you just talk us through those different roles and perhaps others that you might have as well?
Sure. In terms of the PFS, I'm now the longest serving non-exec director. I'm currently an institute director. I had a spell of 6 years previously when I was a member director and I was on the board, and I served as president and chair during that period of time. And that was also a period running up to the retail distribution review, which was obviously a challenging time for our sector. And the PFS and the CII Group worked really, really hard to help the sector through that period. A year or so ago, I joined the European Financial Planning Association board, and there's a community of 101,000 certified individuals across Europe, and just trying to encourage the profession across Europe really to embrace some of the advancements that we've made in the UK, in fact, with professionalisation, which many of the European countries are really keen to see be adopted in their countries. And then a year ago, I became a UK Cabinet Office Disability and Access Ambassador. And this is a role where there's 20 different sectors where they have an ambassador. And the role is to really help customers and employees with disabilities really get the most out of the sector. And it's a role with no money, and all you have is influence and trying to encourage people to really embrace disability. And I'm really enjoying that particular role because from a personal point of view, my wife is disabled, and it's something that I've lived with in terms of experienced disability, and it feels like it's an opportunity to really make a significant difference along those other roles.
Absolutely. A very, very proud moment for you, I'm sure. And you've had opportunities already to meet with those other disability champions. And we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the work that's ongoing in that space a bit later. What's really taking up your time out of those three at the moment? Is it a broad mix across the three? Are you finding yourself more towards the PFS, more towards EFPA? Or how are you distributing the limited time that you've got?
Like all these things, activities come in spells, concentrated spells. In terms of the disability role, that takes up a lot of my time. But certainly the PFS, I mean, it was only last week, I think it was, when I was hosting the London PFS event, and then you have board meetings and other activities. So everything goes in spells. And a year ago, we had our first grandson. Well,
that's a lovely thing to take attention as well, isn't it?
He takes up time as well. So like all these things, you have a balance of things that keep you going.
All right. Well, alongside the grandson, then, from a financial planning perspective, what are the key issues of the day, do you think, from that you are looking at, that some of our members will be concerned about? What are the things that are really taking your attention in this space?
Certainly from a financial planning perspective, what we have is a period of uncertainty and volatility. And for me, it's a fantastic opportunity for our profession to demonstrate the value of advice, something I've championed throughout my whole career, now sort of 36 years as a CII Group member and a day one PFS member. It's something that I think the value of advice is really, really important. And this year in particular will show that value. I personally, as someone who is neurodiverse with ADHD and understand how people get dysregulated, and I think the role of an advisor in particular it can help people, especially those with neurodiversity, to actually stick to their plan, stay focused, don't do anything based upon reaction, but think everything through. And so I think this year in particular is really interesting. We saw a little bit of it last year with tariffs, but the tariffs sort of came and all the excitement went relatively quickly. Feels like this year might be slightly longer term implications, and our sector, I think, has an integral part. The other bit around our sector is from a disability perspective, is our sector is a real enabler for disabled people, whether it be employment, but also if you think about group risk, income protection, life cover. Actually, we're there helping people through those challenges, building resilience. And I think that's something I'm particularly proud of from our sector, and something I want to obviously amplify much more.
Well, just on that particular point, you contributed very significantly to the Managing Vulnerable Customers guidance that we put out at the end of last year. How do you feel about the uptake of that? Have people embraced it? Are you finding people a little bit unsure about whether they've seen enough of it to put it into practice in their firm yet? What are you making of the use of that product at the moment?
First of all, it's a brilliant piece of work, and the work that Vanessa Riboloni and Adam Harper have done, I think, has been superb, leading a group of experts to produce that document. What's really exciting is we've had many thousands of downloads of that document.
We do,
and the feedback, and I know you send us the daily press cuttings. The feedback across our sector, whether it be trade or actually individual member firms, has been so positive. And what it's done is it's helped people have a roadmap as to what to do, giving them hints and tips. And I think people, from what I'm hearing, I think people have really liked that and have really used that to implement within their businesses, and got them thinking. And that really is what we are all about, isn't it? Thought leadership. We're not telling people what to do, but we're encouraging them to think and then decide how it's proportionate to apply into their particular firm.
Yeah, I mean, when I read through the document, seeing what had been produced, I just thought it was so fantastic. I was incredibly proud to see that document. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think it is one of the most impressive pieces of work that the CII Group and all those who contributed to it have put together in quite a long time. So it's well worth a look. And it hasn't ended there, has it? Because the road to consumer trust work that, as you rightly say, Vanessa and Adam within the group are working on. We're working on new products now. We're talking about GDPR and data sharing. We're talking about other aspects of vulnerability, and you're intrinsically involved in all of that, aren't you?
Yes, and it's fantastic to, be in those roundtables. I always learn from those events. It's great to hear people's different perspectives, and the output that we are continually producing, I think, is right at the heart of what we should be doing. So I'm particularly pleased that we're now really driving forward on that thought leadership.
Brilliant. And thinking about thought leadership there, I mean, is there anything that isn't being discussed enough at this point in time from where you're sitting, from your perspective?
Yes, I wouldn't be a disability champion. It would be a missed opportunity to take this time to talk about the importance of disability, whether it be in terms of keeping people in work. And I've joined one of the sprints for the Mayfield Review. So Charlie Mayfield, Mayfield has been doing a lot of work for the government on Keep Britain Working, and he set up Vanguard companies which are now working through best practice. So I've joined that from a disability perspective, and what's quite clear is that many people get a disability during their working life, and I think the percentage is about 80% of people actually become disabled during their working life. So they're not born disabled, they become disabled. And actually what happens in a work environment is that those people often sort of fall out of work. They either go off sick or they eventually cease working for their company. And that's not always the company's fault. But what Sir Charlie Mayfield's looking at is how do you stop that? How do you help companies actually lean into disability? How do you actually reduce the amount of days off sick? And I think that this piece of work will be absolutely groundbreaking. And as a sector, and this is where I'm particularly excited, as a sector, when you think about group risk benefits and you think about the fantastic work about helping people rehabilitate at work, we're at the absolute heart of making sure that people become productive, keep productive, and retain work, because there's work is, you get all your friends from work, you have a social work, but also it's that gives you that ability to keep going. And I always feel if you can keep people in work, it's an amazing positive for people, because actually it's a real enabler. And I think we're at the heart of that.
And we're planning a symposium or a set of events, a week of events potentially, towards the end of this year. You've had a few ideas. We've discussed them. We had a brief conversation today, actually, about it. And it sounds really exciting. And we're going to have some pre-records and some live events, we hope. Do you want to say a little bit more about that now, Eddie?
Yeah, so we have 20 different ambassadors, as I mentioned. And what I want to do is to bring those learnings from all those different sectors, whether it be banking or buses or creative industries. I'm trying to bring the learnings around disability from those sectors into our sector. And also, I think we've done some brilliant things as well. So I want to share those with the other sectors. And a great example of some of the great work we've done, and one of my predecessors, Johnny Timpson, was integral to the work around signposting for insurance, which makes a massive difference helping people who get declined to find cover. So I want to share what we're good at, and I want us to learn from these other sectors. So we've identified a week. So the 5th of October will be the week when we have a disability and access symposium. And then what we'll be doing is having a series of virtual events, and we believe we'll also have a one-day event as well. So this is a great opportunity to learn from others, share best practice, and raise the profile of the initiatives that are already in play.
Superb. Really, really good. Look forward to that immensely. Now, turning our attention back to 2025 and the work of the Personal Finance Society directly, it was a year in which we had a strong focus on, I suppose, making sure that we were laser focused on our members and doing the things that our members want us to be achieving for them. What was the highlight for 2025 for you?
I think the key thing now, I've had two spells on the PFS board. I've been on the board for 8.5 years out of its sort of 20-year life, and when I rejoined 2.5 years ago, one of the things for me was to ensure that we do focus on our members. And so 2025, as you say, was a year that we really did double down on our members, what our members want, and I'm really proud that in 2025 we managed to have one of the most popular one-day conferences that we've ever had. We've over 2,000 people attend.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What a fabulous day that was at the national conference.
Good. We had regional events which had record numbers coming to those events with some great speakers. We empowered the local regions and invested in those local regions with money for them to do what they wanted to do, to give them more empowerment. And we're learning with the work that we're doing with some of the other local initiatives, how to really ensure that our members feel like the Personal Finance Society is focused on them. And for me, that's the absolute key. We need to make sure that we're listening to members. We need to make sure that members feel they're getting real value out of their membership. So I think 2025 was a fantastic demonstration of what we're trying to do and what we're going to get better at throughout 2026 and beyond.
Yeah, and some really exciting things coming up as well. Pathway to the profession. Can't go through 2025 without talking about the £1 million that the PFS board committed to invest in career and talent. I mean, you've got some new data. How's it all going?
So the pathway was very exciting. We'd never done anything like that before. We committed that $1 million. We spent $500,000 straight away, and we're working out what we're going to do with the other $500,000, which I think we're going to announce soon about that.
Because it's a 3-year program.
Yes.
July 2025 was the start, really. So if we'd invested £1 million in the first year, we wouldn't have left ourselves any room for the next couple of years. So we will be making an announcement soon. But sorry, Eddie, carry on.
And so we targeted to have 500 new members. I think we've exceeded 400 new members now. And I think out of those 400, somewhere around 40 or so have actually taken their first exam and passed their first exam. So we're now working with them to encourage them what's next, and then make sure the others take that first exam. And we also focused on doing RO5, which is the protection exam, because if you think about the suite of exams, that's the best standalone one, so that if they never did another exam, at least there was something of value that they could take away. But we obviously want them to continue taking other exams. We want them to become fully fledged members of the Personal Finance Society. And most importantly, and what I'm really pleased about, is when we look at that group of people that joined, I think it's about 80% of them have got nothing to do with this sector.
Absolutely.
And so our ambition was to find people that didn't think our sector was for them and encourage them to join our sector. And I think we have really started that journey, which is particularly exciting. The challenge is we can find those people, but we need the sector and the profession to offer them jobs, and we want to work with the profession to ensure that there are jobs for those people. There is a career for them. We can only find them. We can only bring them in. We can start them on that journey, but it's got to be our profession that takes them through the rest of their career, hopefully in partnership with the CII Group.
And what a wonderful thing to have 400 plus keen, eager new participants within the profession that are, are learning and will be ready to go. I think hopefully firms will see a massive benefit from this soon. But we also had positive results from the other partnerships that we've had with Upreach and with UCAS and Every Woman, Coventry University. I mean, it's much wider than just those qualifications and that first step, if you like. I mean, it's been a really successful program thus far.
It absolutely, and it comes back to this thought leadership bit. We need, and we are doing the thought leadership that perhaps has been missing over a period of time. The pathway was a fantastic example, and I know with the work that Laura and her team are doing.
This is Laura Wolf, our career and talent manager.
So I know with the work she's doing and her team is that these partnerships that she's got, and I think we had a big campaign with UCAS to attract students into our profession. So, all of these things, we're being seen in the right place. We're being seen, hopefully, at career festivals, in schools, and other events. And I know that members in particular really want us to do more of that. So I'm really pleased we're in a position to do that.
Superb. What do you think still needs to happen to bring more people into the financial planning profession? Is there something else that you would particularly champion as part of more investment through the pathway to the profession, or frankly through any other type of endeavour?
So I think the fundamental issue is that there needs to be employed roles to get people going. I think companies need to invest in apprenticeships. They need to encourage internships. They need to bring people in who can experience how diverse it is to work in a financial planning firm, because there are many different roles that you can do in the firm. It's not just advising. You can be in the support team, you can be in the marketing team, you can be in all the different teams. So getting people to realize that the sector is broad and actually appeals, and data in particular is now an ever increasing area of expertise within firms. So I think what we need to do is we need to attract the young people. Young people in particular, for me, are a group of society who are really struggling. They're really struggling with the challenges of companies refocusing with AI tools. They're really struggling because if they've gone to university, they've got debt, and they're concerned about how they pay that debt.
This has been in the headlines, hasn't it? We've got incredibly high youth unemployment. Yes. We've seen the conversations about student debt.
So we need our sector to step up and to offer roles to this next generation. And the reason why we should do it is because it makes commercial sense for our profession, because our profession, if they're advisors, will want to retire at some point in the future. And the only way they'll be able to do that is if there are the next generation of advisors, and the support teams will want to retire. And the only way they'll be able to do that is if there's the next generation of support teams. So this makes absolute commercial sense. And if we think about the value of advice, the value of advice is all about people. Technology will absolutely help make the value of advice efficient. But if we don't have people at the heart of our relationships, then actually that will undermine our profession. So it's really important that our profession takes this opportunity to actually, look at the 400 people that we've brought into the sector, that look at the opportunities that exist, and look how their firms can create opportunities as well.
And on that front, on the human side of skills, I mean, PFS has PFS Power, this wonderful 400 plus strong set of resources that are all about how to build relationships, how to work with clients in a way that is beyond just the technical competence. I mean, such a rich set of resources that perhaps some of our members haven't discovered as yet, but it's absolutely terrific, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's an amazing back catalogue as well. If Apple had our back catalogue, I'm sure they'd make more of it. And I think the key is how do we take that depth of knowledge? How do we find more people within our sector to share? Because that's what I think is exciting about Power, is that there are lots of people doing some brilliant things, and actually Power gives them the opportunity to share that best practice. Something that we want to do at the Festival of Financial Planning, which is later this year, is to encourage more members to share the great initiatives that they're doing. And I know there's some exciting work going on with that.
Well, let's move on to the Festival of Financial Planning then, because as you say, it's the big one this year. Once every 3 years, we go from the national conference to the festival. Actually, we've called it the festival this year. In the previous 2 iterations, it's been a Festival of Financial Planning, but I think we've grown up a bit and we decided that it should be the peak of the financial planning calendar for the year. Really exciting times. Are you going to be there this year?
Absolutely. And
what are you looking forward to in particular?
2 days of events. events, and I think we will see over 3,000 people come during that 2-day festival. What am I looking forward to? One of the things that, and it links back to the pathway to profession that we were really keen to do, is to have a dedicated area for people who are curious about our profession, and we're going to have a whole area for them. We're going to invite people to come who are curious about our profession, and we're going to put on events that hopefully will really appeal to them. So for me, that was a really key part of the pathway to the profession spend, and I'm really excited to see what actually the outcome of that is, because all of these initiatives are fantastic, but if we don't find new people for our profession and grow our profession and ensure great outcomes for our clients, then we haven't really achieved anything unless we do that.
Superb. Now, one of the other things that you're involved in through the course of the year, the PFS roadshows, where have you been thus far? Where are you off to later in the year?
So I hosted the London event recently. I'll look at the sort of spring roadshows and look at which ones work best. And what's exciting actually is we've got a great board on the PFS, and all the board members want to be at the events and host the events. So it's a real challenge actually to get your slot in the event.
It's competitive, isn't it?
It's very competitive, but I think that's really exciting, and it shows that the board members want to meet members, want to be out there, want to be at the leading our sector, and we got some really exciting new board members as well, with Alan Whittle and Adam Harper.
Absolutely, yes.
And Adam. Alan up in Scotland has been amazing with the work that he's been doing, and he brings great member insights. And
he must be competing with you for the amount of service and roles he's done with the CII Group over the years.
I mean, he's been absolutely phenomenal, and I'm really excited that Adam Harper as well joining, because of the work on thought leadership that Adam brings. I think he's going to be really integral to what we do going forward.
Absolutely. Well, look, some exciting events for the remainder of 2026. Eddie, is there anything else you wanted to talk about today? We've covered a lot of ground. As we've discussed, we've got the symposium later in the year, we've got the festival, we've got the road shows. Exciting times.
Very exciting times, and I think the one thing I will leave for listeners is that being on the PFS board is an absolute privilege. We all, as PFS board members, want to hear from our members. We all absolutely have our members at the centre of everything that we're doing, really focused on them, and I think that really sets us up to incredible success going forward. And I think that the value of advice and the value of our profession will shine through in the years to come.
Oh, it's a brilliant way to end this podcast. The first podcast of this new studio. So
thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Eddie. Really, really appreciate it once again.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this episode of the PFP podcast. You can find other podcasts on the brand new PFP website. Please like and subscribe. For now, goodbye.